Welcome to the Candle Business Coach podcast. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I am the Candle Business Coach. I'm also a mum of three and a kindness advocator. This podcast is all about making and selling candles, business development, and mindset, delivered to you with advice, inspiration, and motivation in a new episode every Friday. This episode is brought to you by the membership for candle makers, the Candle Makers Collective. Becoming a member gives you access to fortnightly online group Q&A coaching sessions to support you, monthly online workshops and trainings to help you grow your business, plus frequent expert guest speakers to inspire and teach you. You'll also have access to an ever-growing resource library with templates, guides, planners, and ebooks. But my favorite aspect of the membership is our exclusive Facebook group for accountability, connection, and support. So if you're looking to take your candle business to the next level and learn more about the membership for candle makers, click the link in the show notes for the Candle Makers Collective. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Today we have another episode in our series Candle Maker Connections. This time it's episode number 4, and with us we have Jenny and Steph. Do you want to say hello, ladies?
Hello.
Hello.
Tonight we're going to chat about websites, talking about what platforms we're using for our businesses, what pages we've chosen, whether or not we have a blog, how to add products, how to generate traffic, and basically just how to set it all up. So if you are in the beginning stages of your website journey for your candle business, this episode will be really great just to help give you some motivation and some ideas of how to go about setting up your website. And also it's just a great chat to talk about how we get our ideal customer to find our website, because as we all know, we can build a website and we can, take the password away, or we can open doors and say the website's now open. But if no one's coming to visit, we're not going to make any sales through our website. So tonight will be all about websites. And I think the first question is to ask what platform we're actually using. So Jenny, what platform did you choose for your website?
I'm using Square, and at the moment I only have the free Squarespace website. So I'm still in the early days as well. I think I've only had my website for about 6 weeks. So I'm still very much learning along the way, but I've built it myself and I've been doing the whole thing myself, really. So I'm definitely here to learn, as well as to hopefully give some advice for anybody who wants to take the same path that I have.
And Steph, what platform did you choose?
So I'm currently using Shopify. I just use the basic Shopify plan, and I found it really user-friendly.
So with my business, the Candle Business Coach business, I have the No Hassle website. And then with my magnet business, my e-commerce business, I have Shopify as well. So I can speak from those two perspectives, but it's great we've got some variety on the podcast tonight so that we can offer some different opinions and thoughts if you're the listener still unsure about which platform you want to go with. So let's chat about why we chose that platform. Was it a matter of cost? Was it a matter of ease of use, reviews that you read? Jenny, why did you choose your website platform?
Definitely cost was the big factor. I didn't really want to even have a website at this stage, but I wanted to be able to sell on Facebook and Instagram. I wanted to be able to set up a shop. And the only way that you can do that now is to create a Meta business account with Facebook, and you have to have a website to feed your inventory in from. So I needed a website. I wasn't ready to become an actual web developer and get a proper website that I was paying for. It was really more of a back end kind of thing for me.
I think it's important to know that you don't have to jump into one of the bigger platforms to start with. You can begin with something that is free, that is maybe doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it has what you need, rather than confusing you with all these shiny objects and things that might seem great in theory but not actually benefit your customers coming to your site. So it's great that you found something that not only is cost effective and it serves its purpose for what you need.
It really does. And it's very easy to use. They have some great guides to teach you, to walk you through setting up the website, they're very, very minimal functionality in terms of themes and the way that you can design the look of it. But it does everything that you need to do if you do just want to have a platform, have a website, and link to your Meta business account.
And what about you, Steph? How did you decide on Shopify?
Yeah, so I started using Shopify just from word of mouth from other friends that have their own small businesses. And also it felt familiar to me, even though I had to sort of self-teach how to build the website, I found it quite easy. But to look at, I sort of knew what I was going to achieve because there were other websites that I could look at for reference.
I think Shopify is one of the most popular platforms to choose from to build your website. And many of the websites that we personally shop on will be based on Shopify as well. So it makes sense that you can look at other websites, get a feel for how you want your website to look, and then design it using, the free themes or a paid theme if you want to go down that path. So I guess one thing that many candle makers or many candle business owners will be tossing up between is, do I do it myself or do I hire someone? Do I outsource the building of the website? Regardless of which way you went, ladies, which option do you think is most feasible?
It depends if you've got more time or more money. I think I would recommend outsourcing it if you can, because the amount of hours it's taken me just to do the most basic website setup is quite astounding. I mean, days worth of work figuring it all out. If I'd had some money allocated up front, throw money at the problem if you can, get somebody else to do it, because you'll get something that functions seamlessly, that looks really slick, and you can just save yourself a lot of stress.
What about you, Steph?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've really loved the process of creating it and learning what it looks like, because I feel like now if I outsource, I would understand what I'd be paying someone to do. But I'm stuck in that situation where sometimes I do feel like it's a little bit of a chore, and I get not like overwhelmed completely, but I sometimes go, oh, can't someone else just do this for me? So I do definitely agree. If you have the financial opportunity to be able to outsource it, I definitely think it's one less headache, and you can concentrate on actually making candles or whatever it is that your small business is.
I agree. Outsourcing not just the website development, but any aspect of your business is going to save you time, but not everyone has the funds to be able to do that. So there is that very much that back and forth, or that pull between, do I spend money or do I spend my time? And I think what's important is when you do it yourself, as you said, Steph, like you're learning the process along the way. So it empowers you. Yes, it does take time, and yes, it is frustrating at times, but you're able to learn a new skill, and every time, every iteration that you bring in of the website, and every change that you make, you're building upon your confidence and you're building upon your skill set. One of the things I love about Shopify is that they have their live chat support. I think it's 24 hours. Whenever I've logged on, there's always been someone there to respond quite quickly. And even if it's such a basic question that you're asking, they'll take screenshots and show you how to do it. So you still, in essence, do it yourself, but you're learning along the way rather than just saying, can you fix this? And then they do it for you. Like, they empower you to learn more, which I think is really important. But you're obviously paying for that with a monthly fee or like a hefty annual fee to use the platform. So you'd kind of expect that the support should be there, because you're paying not only for the platform, but for the support as well. So yes, I think we're all in agreement. If we can outsource, definitely do that. But then you've got to weigh up, do I outsource and get product photography done? Do I get an accounting software, or do I use a spreadsheet? Do I get a website developer? Like, there are all these different aspects. So depending on what your personal skills and abilities are and what your experience is with the different aspects of business, whatever you're perhaps not as strong in and you don't have time to learn, then if you've got the money, then outsource all the way.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because I feel like even if you know it's something that you'll enjoy or you're sort of seeking that knowledge, then I think there's no harm in just having a go or just building the basics of it and then outsourcing it, which is sort of where I'm sitting at the moment. But yeah, I definitely agree with all of that.
In terms of user experience, we obviously shop online. I think everyone in the world has shopped online at least once, I'm sure. How do we make our customers' experience as frictionless and seamless as possible based on our website? Or is that something that we're struggling perhaps a little bit with?
I am actually putting a lot of thought into this at the moment with my website, with things like filters and like how I have my products listed. So like, I hope this is sort of what you're asking, specifically in line with like how customers will search for a fragrance. So I at the moment have it set up as, large candle, medium candle, but now I'm thinking that when you jump on, are you going onto a candle website because you can't physically smell it? So are you actually going on there and looking for a particular candle, like fragrance, or are you happy to explore the entire range that that person is offering. So I've been starting to look into filters, like the plugins for the website, to break it down to make it user friendly, because I've used those on other websites, like, earring websites, and you can just click on apples or something and it brings up all the apple earrings and that sort of stuff. So that's one thing that I've sort of been looking at but haven't executed yet.
I think it really depends on what sort of customers you're attracting, but everyone's still going to have different preferences on how they search. So having the option to filter in different ways, I think is really clever.
Yeah, and like down to like budget or size, product, those sorts of things.
Yeah, good thinking. I'm looking forward to seeing that all come together.
Don't hold your breath. It's a long haul.
It's not as simple as just installing the app and then it's good to go. No. There's so much more involved.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Jenny? How do you make your customers' experience as frictionless as possible?
I think keeping things simple is always a great way to start, because really your customer needs to know how they can buy the thing that they've come there to buy. So clear headings, make sure that your links go to where they say they're going to go, and make sure that it works. It's so basic, but it just needs to work. So you definitely need to make sure that you're testing that, add things to the cart, see how that all looks from the outside perspective and not just from because everything can look really good from the back end. And then you go to the website as though you're a customer and something doesn't work and the shipping options aren't correct for a certain variation or something like that. So you really need incredible attention to detail for every single product that you've got. And something else that I think helps with the customer experience and may help them forgive you a little if the functionality isn't there is to make it look like your brand personality. So if you have there's no point having a beautiful website that doesn't work, but if you have a website that they enjoy spending time on and that's fun for them, they might be a little bit more forgiving if they have to do 2 clicks to get to a product instead of 1 click.
I'm sitting here nodding. I'm in complete agreement, because there are websites that I can think of that I won't name, but you go to them and you have fun clicking through every single section. Like you just want to see what they've got on offer, and just you want to stay on it for longer, where there are other ones that, within, 2-3 seconds, you're like, I'm out. It's not working for me. It's not for me. Even if the product I would identify as it being for me, the website, if it's too clunky, if it's not been designed with flow in mind, then you can lose customers quite quickly.
Yeah, and I think what you said at the start, Jenny, just keeping it simple, especially if you're doing it yourself as well, is definitely the best avenue. And then you can go down the path of perfecting different areas.
Have we received any feedback from our customers regarding our website?
I've had feedback that people think it looks gorgeous, which is very nice. But I also, because I've done it all myself and I'm not a website person, things haven't been working. And so I had a message just last night, actually, a customer who I'd met at a market. She loved the candle that she bought from me. She wanted to buy more, but she couldn't add it to her cart in the website. And that's terrible. It's the last thing that you want. And so I went in immediately. I responded to her immediately. It was great that she messaged me. She didn't just let it go. She messaged me and said, I'm having trouble with this on the website. I got in, I fixed up the issue. I sent her a discount code, but I think by then she'd lost interest and I've lost the sale. Maybe she'll come back within the next few days. But that piece of feedback really showed me how important it is to have everything working properly. Mm-hmm. And you might think it's working properly, but I should have reviewed it more carefully, obviously, because it's just one little thing that I hadn't clicked means that I've lost a sale.
And perhaps others as well that you don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be the bearer of bad news, but
no, it's a learning curve. Exactly. It's a big learning curve. And if you don't make mistakes, and you won't know the potential things that could keep happening as well. So now I'm aware of that issue. It will never happen again. But it's a shame that I'm learning this in real time.
Yes. And this is true whether you outsource or not, because even if you're outsourcing to like a professional, they could still miss small things as well. And the responsibility should still lie with you as the website owner to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and pick up anything that needs to be amended, whether or not you can fix it yourself in that moment, but have it fixed in time. And it's like websites, they can really test your patience. Like, honestly, it is such a labor of love, and it is such a journey to go on. And this is in addition to making candles and testing different fragrances and working out how to market your products. And this is just one aspect of business. And this is why not everyone is built to be a business owner, because it can be so frustrating and so disheartening when you come up against something that, yes, a quick Google search can give you the answer, but you feel like at times, oh, but I should know how to do this. I'm in my late 20s, or I'm in my 30s, or I'm in my 40s, or whatever. And you come up against your own insecurities at times. And I think having a website, or when someone says, I've just launched my website, it is cause for celebration, because it can be an arduous journey, let's say. Let's have a talk about the actual content of websites. So in terms of like the homepage and the product page, and whether or not we have a blog, what would be important for the homepage?
My homepage, I just make sure that I like to have a friendly photo of myself, and then obviously my products as well. I like to give a bit of a personable experience, so people feel like that they actually feel like they're buying from me. And yeah, definitely just like my best sellers, and then easy to click through a collection of products.
Are you using the Dawn theme, Steph, or have you got a different theme for Shopify?
So I use the theme Studio. So I previously did use Dawn, but yeah, then I went in and I looked at the Studio theme, and I love that on Shopify.
Yeah, I love it. And there's got so many different free themes that you can use as well. So it really just depends on what you want your website to look like. And it's good to be mindful of when you are shopping online, just any website, and you see a layout that you like, take note of it and see if you can replicate, how they've done the layout. I think is really good. And there are so many different themes to choose from. But even so, like I'm sure, Jenny, you would have been able to customize the look and feel of your website, even if it's not Shopify.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And actually my homepage has pretty much the same information as Steph's does. It has my best sellers are the first things that are going to pop up. Then there are categories, so you can easily just click to, there are categories along the top, but then there are also bigger versions of the categories that have a photograph as well. So you can click through, and then I have my About Me on the homepage also. I'm lacking a photo of myself, so I need to get onto that, because as Steph was saying, it's nice to get that personal element in, but I have it right there so that people can start to understand who it is that they're shopping with right from the beginning.
Yes, because that's what sets small businesses apart from the big faceless companies, is the business owner and the story and the brand that we bring to life with our journey, with our business. And yes, it can be scary to have photos taken of ourselves and put up online, but that's what will set you apart from the big stores. So it's important to infuse who you are into your website as well as your social media presence.
And can I just add, I had a moment when I actually uploaded the photo of myself to the website. It was a real moment of like, oh, this is my website. Like, people will actually connect me to this online space. And it's not, Instagram profile or Facebook. It's a pretty satisfying feeling when you actually do it. So I definitely recommend having a photo of you with your About Me page.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't know about you ladies, but I get curious about the about section on websites, and I'm like, oh, what are they saying about themselves? Let me learn a little bit more. And some people will write just the smallest little blurb, and then other people will write essays. So it's always interesting, because that will tell you a lot about them as well and how they perceive themselves in the business. So it's always a bit of fun. So be mindful that there are people that like to explore websites. They're not just going there. There are some people that will just go there to shop, but then there are others that like to linger and want to have a look around, and give them something to enjoy while they're there is important.
Especially when you start building your own small business, you start to really look at all these different aspects of how websites actually, are put together.
How often are we updating our websites?
Every couple of days at the moment, because I'm still loading new products in. I don't even have all my product photography done yet. So as I'm getting new information, and I think, I put a placeholder description in there, I better flesh out that one. So I am in there all the time at the moment.
Yeah, same. What about you, Steph?
Yeah, way too often, mainly because I feel like I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, or I don't know, like I'll always jump onto my website and then, pretend to be a user of the page, and then I'll see something. So yeah, I feel like I'm on there almost every day.
Yes, same with me. I feel like I use my I'm on my website more than my customers for sure. Like I would love if my customers are on there more than me. But I'm the same, Steph. Like I'll notice those small details and then tweak them and make them, quote unquote perfect. But every time I go in, I think it's important to, or every time we go in as a collective, each person, each business owner goes in, it's important to kind of put that lens on of I'm looking for something that might not be 100%, because if you can pick up those small details, it means that your customers aren't seeing them. So don't become obsessive about it, but just be mindful that you can't just do it. Like you can't just sit down, bang out a website, be done, move on, and then just hope for the best. Like it is an ongoing relationship that you have with your own website. And some relationships can be toxic, so just be mindful of how often you are checking them, how often you're checking, and not getting lost in the I'm being busy, therefore I'm being productive thought, because you need to be marketing your products as well, and that takes time. Doing social media, doing out and about in-person business adventures. It's important not to just get stuck in your own house, your own room, your own study, your own computer. Like you need to step away from it as well. But it is something that you need to maintain. It's not just a one-off task. Are you ready for personalised support for your candle making journey? Hi there, my friend. I'm Kirsty Allen, the Candle Business Coach, and I help candle makers like you with mindset and business strategy, as well as troubleshooting your candle making struggles. With my private coaching, we'll work together to set and achieve your goals. And whether you need a single session for clarity or a series of sessions for ongoing support, I'm here to help you every step of the way. Check out the show notes for details of my private coaching sessions and packages, and let's achieve your goals one candle at a time. What are our methods, our tactics, our strategies on bringing people, visitors to our website? How do we promote our website?
Well, that's something that I'm really in the baby stages of doing. I'm literally doing it right now. So I'm about to start building my email list. I've got a strategy for that. I'm going to have my lead magnet, which people can get when they sign up for my email list. So that's a really important one, getting your email list together, and also the SEO. So that's something that I'm constantly going into my website to update, because I just got my products up there. I didn't get every product perfect. So a lot of them have nothing in the SEO section at this point. So I'm going in there and making sure that I'm using all of the words that I need to be using in that section so that I can be found. Because at the moment I'm a little bit invisible, which I'm aware of. That's fine. I'm building it, but I know that that's one of the most important parts really, is to make sure that you can be discoverable in a search.
Absolutely, because if no one can find you, what's the point of having the website in the first place? Yeah. What about you, Steph? How are you managing to bring people to your website?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much on the same level, I guess, as what Jenny is, where like I've rebranded essentially at the start of the year and redone my website with Shopify. But I just make sure that I have my link in my bio on my Instagram and my Facebook. That's probably my biggest thing. And I'm sort of starting to implement the SEO side to that. I actually outsourced and had a one-on-one with a lady regarding SEO, just so I can get myself some knowledge around that and try and have a crack at it myself, because I really do like, I said before, learning that sort of stuff. But it's a bit explosive really once you start looking at SEO. It just sort of brain goggles me. But I have started, so I'm definitely putting in those keywords and trying to rank for certain words. But my traffic to the website is quite low. But I definitely even find like I do markets and I always tell people about the website and they're like super excited about it. And I do get that organic traffic just after markets, like that week following. And then I also do have an email list, and I always make sure that there's a sort of call to action within my email and get them over to my website.
That's really important, is to tell people that you have a website. It doesn't have to just be through SEO or just through Google or just through organic methods or reach. It's very much tell people when you're doing posts or stories on or reels on social media, tell people that you've got a website. Tell people if you've got a lead magnet or if you've got a discount when they join your email list or whatever it might be to incentivize them to visit your website. Obviously, the products are selling points too, but you need to tell people that there is a place to go. Otherwise, they won't know and they won't necessarily go looking for it unless they're already connected to you, they know, like, and trust you, and they want to purchase from you, or they're a repeat customer. So it is so important to have those reminders, and just to let people know that, hey, there's a place that you can shop, and here's the link in my bio, or what you said, Steph. All right, so let's have a chat about inventory and fulfilling orders when it comes to the website. Because you're both using different platforms, do you find the process straightforward enough to add inventory to the website to then be able to sell and then fulfill the orders? Or is that sort of a part that might be a little bit clunky for you in the back end?
Mine is very easy. It's a very simple process to go in and update the inventory. So yeah, no worries at all.
And what about you, Steph?
Yeah, same. Shopify just has like a bulk edit option. So I just find that super easy. And I don't often make, super small quantities of product. So if I'm actually intending to restock for my website, it's done in a larger sort of quantity and just in one hit. So it's not the dribs and drabs of inventory that I have to update. So I don't find that to be a headache at all.
What challenges have you both faced with building your website? And I say challenges because there's more than one, I'm sure.
Mine would be leaving it alone. So I always find that there's something I want to change, or I just get different ideas sometimes and I get a bit carried away. We've talked about it before, Kirsty, like the shiny objects that really don't need to consume my time. Yeah, that's really my biggest thing, is just being happy with what I've built, because you do spend so much time with it, and actually leaving it long enough for people to actually get familiar with the website. I feel like I just change it too often. Not that I've had that feedback, but that's probably one thing that I've found challenging.
So interesting. It's one of those things, like we said before, like you've got to have a healthy relationship with the website. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Like if you're constantly changing things and it looks or feels different each time a website visitor, a potential customer, comes to the website, they might not recognize that it's your website if it looks drastically different every time they come and visit. So yeah, leaving it alone is something that I think a lesson we could all learn. I see Jenny nodding.
Yes, exactly. My biggest challenge has been just a complete lack of skill and knowledge in this area. I don't enjoy using a computer at all. I don't like being sat trying to figure things out online. I like making things with my hands, being outdoors. I just don't like it. So it takes a lot of commitment to get me to do these things and to learn. I mean, I enjoy the learning process of anything, like Stephanie said. So it's been really great being able to build it, but every step of the way, it's been a challenge. I'm glad that I've got to this point and that I've learned all of the things that I have, but I don't know that I'll ever feel confident in my skill to do this. And I look forward to the day when I'm outsourcing this, upgrading to a proper Shopify website that will have more functionality and integration available, and I can let somebody else worry about it. I won't mind doing the little updates and things myself, fine, because I feel comfortable doing that sort of thing now, but I just don't want to even think about this side of it.
Yes, you just want to make and create and enjoy working with your hands, like you mentioned. So my next question was, how do you overcome these challenges? And I think you just grin and bear it. You just got to do it until you get to a stage where you can outsource it.
Yeah, get yourself a nice cup of tea, sit down and just plow through it. And breaking it down into small pieces is what I found really useful. It felt like such an overwhelming task to me. Build a website. It's so far out of my wheelhouse, but I took it one step at a time. I didn't try and get the whole thing done at once. I'd read the instructions for each section and do it section by section, just get one done, then walk away for a little bit and come back. And so I became more and more familiar with the process as I went along. And all of a sudden it was done, and I'd just done it in bite-sized pieces. So I found that to be a great tip.
Yes, breaking it into different times of the day over the course of many days or weeks, or however long it takes, rather than having like a marathon session doing it in one go, like some people, hand raised. Because
I'm raising my hand.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes. Steph and I agree that maybe not, well, it's like we agree with each other, but we're maybe not agreeing with the idea of just sitting down and ignoring everything else in the world and just focusing on the website. But I don't know about you, Steph, but when I'm, and you too, Jenny, but when I'm in flow with creating, and this is even with creating the website, I don't want to break away from it. I just want to see it through to completion. And I feel like if I get interrupted or if I have to stop, it doesn't mean the thoughts around it stop. Like I just want to get it done, want to get it to a point where I feel happy and that it's, quote unquote perfect enough that I can move on to something else. But maybe that's something I need to work on as well.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't agree more. And I feel like I haven't really done that. Like I have known that I need to just even write, 5 things on my to-do list that have something to do with the website, whether it be create 5 product pages and then just leave it, because I definitely do a marathon session. And that, for me, I've got children, so that means that I'm starting on it at 9 o'clock at night and I'm not putting my laptop down until 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's just a vicious cycle. So yeah, I definitely couldn't agree more. And I feel like if there's like one takeaway from the conversation, because I feel like we've definitely supported the idea of outsourcing creating a website. Realistically, that's just not possible for a large majority of people who are creating a small business. So I feel like that's probably one thing that the listeners should take away from that, is just do it slowly and do small steps, because you can do it and you can teach yourself to do it. And then there will be a time that you can outsource it, which I'm hoping is very soon for me.
Yay, that would be amazing. Not that your website needs to be outsourced. Your website looks incredible as it is, but I know what you're saying. Yeah. I think that's true. Look, I feel like we've kind of we've talked about the challenges and the hard experiences with building your own website. But when you look back on how much progress you've made and you can see and how much time you've put into it, to be proud of your efforts as well. You don't get that if you outsource. Like you don't get that satisfaction of, wow, look what I've learned. Look at these skills I now have. And most of the skills we're learning are transferable to other things. These aren't just, I can only use it in this small capacity. It's something that it equips you with confidence. It equips you with that knowledge that you can then take out into the world and use in different ways. But yes, I absolutely agree with Steph and Jenny. Just take it slowly. There's no rush. I think taking things slow, knowing that you've got time, and just try and enjoy the process as well.
Yeah, definitely.
What advice would we give to other candle makers who are about to start their website journey?
Arm yourself with patience. Be very kind to yourself throughout the process, especially if this is outside of your comfort zone. It's going to be challenging probably, but you can learn to love it. Absolutely. As long as you do give yourself time, as Kirsty was saying, if you've got a time crunch, if you decide that you have to learn how to build a website and build the entire website in 1 week, chances are you're not going to feel great. Whereas if you can say, I'm giving myself 1 month to learn to do this, and then I'm going to set a hard date after that, then you can experiment a little, because it is actually really fun. For all we've said about the challenges of it, it's great. I do feel really proud of everything that I've achieved, and I look forward to doing more with it. But it can be a great stressor if you don't go gently with yourself. And remember that you're learning something new. You don't have to know everything all at once.
Mm-hmm. And if you do have young children and you are working either before they wake up, in their nap time, or at night, just know it's probably going to take you longer than you think, because you're having to do it in smaller chunks of time, and that's okay. What about you, Steph? What advice would you give to candle makers about to start their website journey?
Yeah, even though we've highlighted how challenging the website process can be, I would just say just go for it. I definitely think it's worth learning. And I would also say reach out to other people. Like, even if you just sort of are acquainted with someone who has a small business, I feel like people are always willing to share knowledge and support you in building the business. So I'm never afraid to just message someone, even on Instagram or Facebook, and say, hey, I noticed you're, using Shopify. Can you tell me how you did this on there? And they're always happy to help.
Are there any resources or tools that we would recommend to help the website journey? I know that with each of the different platforms, they have their own set of resources on how to build certain sections of the website, or how to do certain, like import certain features and things. So certainly take advantage of the guides that are already on the website platforms that you're using. And then if you use Shopify or utilizing the live support on all the platform services, if they're there to support you, take advantage of that and ask the questions, even if it's via email and you don't get a response, instantly. utilize the support that's there and write a list of your questions and then work on getting them answered.
Something else that is really great and is available freely is a lot of people have done comparisons of all the different e-commerce websites. So it's great to jump online, have a look at a few of those, I would say. Don't just read one because you don't really know where this person's coming from. But if you read a few of them, then you can get a really great overview of, say, the top 5 different website things, or just even the website platforms themselves. You can get really good in-depth information about how they all work, how difficult they might be to use, what the costs of them all are. You can see all of that up front, and it can help you decide which way you want to go to start with.
Yes, great advice. That is so, so good. I'm glad that you brought that up. And also like purchasing a domain and purchasing, the .com, the .com.au, the .au, and integrating redirects and all those sorts of things. Like that will be part of the journey as well. But as always, as Steph said, like reach out to people if you have any questions, and Google is going to be your best friend through this process as well. What about you, Steph? Are there any resources or tools that you can recommend?
The Candlemaker Collective. I did mention before that I had rebranded, and I have used other platforms as well. But in that process, I definitely found the Candlemaker Collective super supportive in that transition. And I only did one post in our, private group, but the comments that I got and sort of encouragement, to nut it out, basically, has probably been my biggest support group.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for saying that, Steph. And I'm so glad that when you embarked on this journey from the start of this year until now, because we're now recording this on the 10th of July, 2024, it's been a journey for you to get to this point. And yet, if you hadn't had that support, it might not have been as enjoyable, or it might have taken a little bit longer. So it's so good that you've been able to get that support within the Candlemakers Collective, which I love.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very grateful to have it.
Oh, such a nice way to end our episode tonight. Thank you so much, Jenny and Steph, for coming on and chatting about websites and all the things to do with websites for our Candlemaker Connections episode number 4. I look forward to the next conversation. And if any of the listeners have any questions about websites and would like to ask any of us, I'll put all of our details in the show notes. And yeah, we'll be more than happy to answer some questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend, for listening to this episode. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout the conversation, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're feeling inspired, I would love it if you would write a review for the podcast and give a 5-star rating. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.